In the last tutorial, we looked at how sometimes you need to push back against your crew and stand your ground. In this tutorial, we're going to see the other side, times when you should relinquish and let go. During the filming of that same goodbye scene we looked at previously, there was a part of the original script that had villains searching for our heroines. And at one point, we saw them in the background. I thought that that would add some tension to see them off in the distance while Tayani was saying goodbye to Cordelia. It's important to note that this was the only coverage of these bad guys in the scene. So I wanted them close enough to the camera that the audience could recognize them from their wardrobe through all the foliage and stuff. Now, after setting up, getting a couple of shots, Amy, our script supervisor, told me that it felt like the bad guys were a little bit too close to our heroes, and that it seems like they would have been easily spotted from them at that distance. So I agreed. So we kept them at the same spot, but we switched lenses, which, as we'll see in the cinematography course, makes the villains feel like they're further away. But the crew still felt like the villains were way too close. Everybody that has watched this scene has felt the same way, so I removed these guys and that whole storyline in post-production. But on set, I was much more concerned about the performances. And I was also really concerned because we were behind schedule, and I had to throw away shots on the fly. That meant that I also had to kind of replan the scene because there was this really complex crossing of the line of action, which we'll look at in the cinematography and editing courses. I felt like I had changed lenses and improved the shot, but everyone else on my team disagreed. Between takes, they would band together about how bad the shot still looked. Usually after each take, I'll go over to my team at Video Village and they'll tell me what they thought of the shot, give me some notes, but not here. It's like an episode of House of Cards or something. I wouldn't hear them on this one thing, so they wouldn't help me with any of the issues I was having. And you can even see it in their body language when I came around Video Village. Now, this obviously isn't great for a team trying to be creative together. Ideally, the crew would unite together to badmouth the director. But it almost always happens on every set. It's just human nature. We all think we have the best way of doing things. So it's important for you as director to diffuse the situation as quickly as possible. It would have taken 10 minutes to shoot a version of the scene without the bad guys in it, and then put on a long lens and get a shot of just those bad guys. That would have appeased everyone, and I'd have both versions and much more flexibility in the edit. And it probably would have ended up saving time overall because then everyone would have probably been more helpful for the performance and line crossing issues I was having. Working with a crew of really talented people, even people who are your good friends, is always a challenge. There's always this balance of surrendering to your crew or sticking to your plan. If you always appease your crew, then you lose your vision of the project. If you follow your own plan without regards to their input, then they close off like this, and you essentially lose all those great creative partners that you've hired. As director, you have to plan on letting go a little bit and know which battles are worth fighting for.